inheritance you live with your children is the character structure you live with them, not the inheritance of properties. I dare not play with the hard work of parents that are consistent with what they will leave as inheritance for their children. If you leave an inheritance to a foolish son, they will waste your labor. The car you didn't buy because you thought it was luxury, your child will buy because they met free money. It is not whether or not you have good spending habit, good saving habit. It is whether or not the generation that wants to carry your inheritance has the structure and stamina of your character. I'm going to be touching some tables this morning that will cause a lot of shaking. And one of those tables are people who travel out of the country in the name to work money. Sir, you cannot abandon children in the name of fallen bush to work money. By the time you come, your children have actually fallen bush because the devil interrupted your character. A son you gave birth to that was okay is now a drug addict. How do you look for money and miss out on the place of parenting? Hear me and hear me well. The character you instill on a child is more important than the money you put in your hand. A present parent that pays school fee in government school is more active than an absent parent that sends you to Seka. An absent parent that sends you to Sase. Sase is not character oriented. Parenting is character oriented. People have left home in a bid to work money. After working the money, their children killed them. Their children sold the property while they were alive. How do you leave the country in a bid to make money? After making the money, while you are still alive, your children sell the property. There is a hotel somewhere around Douala. It used to be one of the reigning hotels. In fact, they used the name of that hotel to describe that location in Douala. That was the hard work of a man. He has given back to children and he's gone. When you go to the hotel, it looks like a forgotten property in the heart of the town. Not because the man did not invest. He invested in money and did not invest in character. Posterity is character dependent. Posterity is character dependent. Listen, the guarantee of your generation is not how much money you left in the hands of your children. It is how much discipline you structured in their orientation. Genesis chapter 1 verse 31. And God saw that it was very, and God saw that it was, and God saw that it was very good. Now take this friend, take this brother. Until God saw that it was very good, he did not leave it in the hands of man. There is a time when your child is not fit for the boarding school. There is a time when your child is not fit to live with anybody. Until he saw that it was very good. Try the character of your child. Don't send your children to boarding schools because you have the money. Send your children to boarding schools because they have the stamina. Going to boarding school is not dependent on the amount of money in your pocket. It is dependent on the discipline of your children. I've had to deal with a lot of lesbian cases. It came from single-sex schools. I've had to deal with young men that became all of a sudden full of anger. Furious young men. How did it come? They were being bullied by a senior in school. And because of that bullying nature of the senior in school, they had to develop a defense mechanism and they became cunning. They will put pepper in your bathing water. It was a way to pay back in school. Now they grew up. They are now struggling to trade that character for what they need. It was not originally their character. It became their character because their parent was unable to parent their child and send them to a teacher to parent them. Boarding schools is for adults, not for children. Form 1, there should be nobody. If I were the government, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, there's no boarding school for Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. If I were the government, boarding school starts at Form 4. Form 4, Form 5, lower 6, upper 6, that's it. Otherwise, there's no boarding school. You send a child that has not mastered themselves to a boarding school. Look at me. I'm not discussing with you. I'm speaking as your priest, who has gotten the modus operandi of your life, your destiny from heaven. God did not leave it until he saw that it was very good. Listen, the Bible says God created light. He saw that it was good. He did every creation. He saw that it was good. At the end, he assessed everything. You look into your child. Accountability. The child has 7 on 20, and you are sending the child to boarding school. Responsibility. Begin over and learn how to wash. Some of you, your daughters are dirty because you send them to boarding schools when they were not fully formed. Young girl who does not know how to dress, basic dressing. Girl doesn't know when they wear, is it cyclists? Doesn't know when they wear cyclists under a dress and when they wear only pants. If you are a father and your son is not bold, your son is not audacious, your son doesn't square up, you failed. How do you give birth to a son that is speaking to his age mate, to a fellow human being looking down? Sir, your squareness does not come from your employment. Your squareness comes from your upbringing. Paul's son, he says, I've seen princes walk on foot, while servants ride on horses. What? What was the king doing? That servants were learning and princes weren't learning. So before you blame princes for walking on foot, also blame kings for not parenting princes. The prince is at the mercy of the king for his character. Now hear me. Birds of what? Birds of what? They do what? Birds of what? Birds of same feathers flock together. Let me tell you, your company decides your company. You didn't get that? Your association decides what you become eventually in future, eventually in life. If you do not have the right company, nothing is coming out of your destiny.